Let me start you off with a story. So you've got two famous authors, Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller, and they're at this super lavish party. It's on Shelter Island, hosted by a billionaire hedge fund guy. Picture it, just unimaginable wealth all around. And this one little scene, it sets the stage for probably one of the most important financial lessons you'll ever hear.
So his friend Kurt Vonnegut points out that their billionaire host made more money in a single day than Joseph Heller had earned from his absolute masterpiece, Catch-22, over its entire lifetime. And that was Heller's reply. Yes, but I have something he will never have. Enough. Just one sentence, and wow, it cuts right to the very heart of what we're talking about today.
You see, that simple idea, the concept of enough, it's not just some clever comeback at a party. You could argue it's the single most critical and honestly, the most ignored skill in all of finance. And not having it? Well, it can lead to absolute total ruin, no matter how much you think you've already won.
That little exchange is just a brilliant parable, right? But what happens when this kind of thing plays out in the real world? With real money and real lives hanging in the balance. This is exactly where that philosophy crashes head-on with a really brutal reality. Let's talk about the case of Rajat Gupta, a guy who had, by any measure, everything. But tragically, it still wasn't enough.
I mean, his story is the definition of a rocket ship ride to the top. He was born in Kolkata, orphaned as a teenager, and somehow he climbed all the way to the absolute peak of the corporate world. We're talking CEO of the legendary McKinsey & Company, a partner with Bill Gates himself, sitting on the boards of 5 massive public companies. He was the poster child for success.
And by 2008, his net worth was reportedly $100 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. $100 million.
So the question is just hanging there, isn't it? What more could a person possibly want? Well, for Gupta, the answer was more. He was obsessed with this idea of getting into the billionaire circle. And that ambition, that constantly moving goalpost, was going to be the thing that brought him down. And this is how fast it can all just evaporate. Well, he was on the board of Goldman Sachs. He found out that Warren Buffett was about to pump $5 billion into the bank. The board call ended. 16 seconds later, that's it, just 16 seconds, he was on the phone giving an illegal tip to a hedge fund manager. The result? Prison. His reputation, his freedom, his entire legacy, gone. In an instant.
Gupta's story is just a tragedy of risking it all for more. And he's definitely not alone. So now, let's turn to a name we all recognize, Bernie Madoff. But there's a piece of his story that a lot of people miss, and it makes what he did even more, well, just baffling.
See, the really wild part of Madoff's story is that before the whole infamous Ponzi scheme, he was already an insanely wealthy and totally legitimate force in finance. His market-making firm was basically a money-printing machine, handling almost 10% of all trades on the New York Stock Exchange. It was earning him anywhere from $25 to $50 million a year. He didn't need to steal a dime. He chose to.
So you've got these two guys, right? Titans of their industries, and they both threw everything away. What is the fundamental mistake they both made? What's the core principle we can pull from their epic falls from grace?
Warren Buffett absolutely nailed it. He said, to make money they didn't have and didn't need, they risked what they did have and did need. And that's foolish. That's it. That's the whole story in a nutshell. They risked their freedom, their reputation, things they desperately needed for more money they absolutely did not.
Okay, so we've seen the destruction. How do we make sure we don't do the same thing? How do we master this art of enough? Let's talk about the path forward.
It really comes down to 4 key lessons. First, you've got to stop the goalpost from moving. That means you have to decide what success looks like for you, not what other people tell you it should be. Second, you have to get out of the social comparison game because it's a game you just can't win. Third, understand that enough isn't about being cheap or depriving yourself. It's about realizing when more money just doesn't buy more happiness. And finally, and this is the big one, you have to know what's never, ever worth risking for more cash.
Let's just double-click on that social comparison point for a sec. It is a game that is mathematically unwinnable. There will always, always be someone with more. The ceiling just keeps going up and up and up until it's in outer space. The only way to win that game is to not play.
And this gets us to the most important takeaway of all. Knowing when to stop taking risks so you can protect the things that are truly priceless. Your reputation, your freedom, your family, your friends, your happiness. These are the things you already have and you absolutely need, so don't be foolish enough to risk them for something you don't.
Which brings it all back to Joseph Heller's simple, powerful wisdom at that billionaire's party. It's not about how much more you can get. It's about what you truly value. So I'll just leave you with the question this whole thing has been building to. What is your enough?